Today, we're diving into a story that is absolutely chilling. It's the 2009 Nutty Putty Cave incident. This isn't just a caving accident. It's a story about a man named John Jones, the terrifying medical crisis that was happening inside his body deep underground, and a rescue attempt that was a desperate race against both time and solid rock. To really understand what happened here, I want to drop you right into the most intense moment. This is what one of the rescuers, Brandon Kowalas, heard when he finally got to John. That sound, it was the sound of a body in the final stages of a fight it just couldn't win. So how in the world did he get into this situation? What were the rescuers actually looking at when they got down there? Let's start by breaking down the horrifying physical trap John Jones found himself in. Okay, so here are the brutal, basic facts. John Jones was an experienced caver, and he was exploring a tight passage that had a name, Ed's Push. He went in head first, thinking it opened up, but it didn't. He got completely stuck, unable to move forward or backward. And the worst part? He was almost totally upside down, 100 feet below the surface. You have to remember, this isn't speculation. This comes directly from the people who were right there with him. By the time they reached him, he was already in a really bad way. His body was bent at this crazy angle, and being inverted for so long was just taking a devastating toll. He was fading in and out of consciousness, and his breathing was getting harder and harder. But here's the thing, just being stuck, that was only half the battle. There was an invisible, and honestly, a much more deadly crisis unfolding inside John's body. And it was happening simply because of the position he was in. This is where geology and human physiology crashed into each other in the worst possible way. And that really brings us to the key question, right? I mean, think about it. We hang upside down on the monkey bars as kids, so why is being stuck that way for a long time so incredibly fatal? Well, the answer has a name. It's a medical condition called positional asphyxia, and it's terrifying. It doesn't mean there's no air to breathe. It means your body is positioned in such a way that you physically cannot breathe. Your own weight, your own body becomes the force that's crushing you. So here's how it works, and it's just brutally simple. When you're upside down, gravity pulls all your abdominal organs, your stomach, liver, intestines, down onto your diaphragm. That makes it impossible for your lungs to fully expand to take a good breath. So your breathing muscles are fighting against all this immense pressure until they just get exhausted and start to fail. It's a slow mechanical shutdown of your ability to breathe. And look, this image right here, even though it's from a different case, shows you exactly what we're talking about. See how that jackknife position just mechanically blocks everything? That is the fatal geometry that John was fighting against inside that cave. You know, for forensic experts to be able to say for sure that this was the cause of death, they basically have to check 3 boxes. 1, the body's position had to have been blocking normal breathing. 2, the person couldn't move out of that position. And 3, and this is key, they've ruled out every other possible cause of death. It's what they call a diagnosis of exclusion. So at the same time John's body was failing, the rescuers on the surface were gearing up for this desperate battle against the cave itself. So let's look at the kind of technology they had in their arsenal for these insane situations. You know, in a lot of these technical rescues, you get to a point where you realize, we can't move the person. So what do? Well, you have to move the planet. And that means you need some pretty specialized gear to break rock in really, really tight spaces. Everything starts here, with what they call level 1. It's the basics, right? Hammers, chisels, pry bars. Just simple manual tools. It is slow, exhausting work, but a lot of the time it's the only thing you can do. But modern tech has been a total game changer. These high-powered battery-operated rotary hammers, they let rescuers drill into solid rock deep inside a cave, miles from any electrical outlet. This just opens up a whole new world of what's possible. And then you've got the really cool stuff. Microblasting. Basically, they drill little holes, stick these tiny pyrotechnic cartridges inside, and set them off. And you can see from the before and after, it's not some huge Hollywood explosion. It's just enough precise pressure to crack a massive boulder into pieces they can actually move. Okay, so the rescuers have all this powerful, sophisticated technology, they've got the tools, but here's the problem. Having the best tools in the world means nothing if you can't actually use them. And that brings us to the absolute tragic heart of the Nutty Putty rescue attempt. I mean, just look at the numbers here. These drills were no joke. On a single battery charge, they could punch multiple wide holes into solid rock. In theory, on paper, they had more than enough power to break him out. The capability was there. But theory slammed into a wall of reality. This quote from the rescuer, Brandon Kowalis, it just says it all, doesn't it? He had a powerful tool that was 3 or 4 feet long in a workspace that was only 2.5 feet wide. It's just impossible math. And this image, while it's from a different rescue, gives you such a visceral sense of what they were dealing with. Just look at that. There's barely enough room for a person, let alone trying to get leverage to operate heavy, powerful equipment. This was the impossible office they were working in. And so, in the end, everything they tried just failed. They couldn't get a good angle to drill. The tools were just too long to even position correctly. The jackhammer apparently just sank into the soft clay-like floor. It was a heartbreaking reality. All of our best technology and human ingenuity was completely defeated by simple, unforgiving geology. With every single rescue option now off the table, and John having passed away in the cave, the story turns towards its tragic conclusion and the difficult decision about what to do with the cave itself. After 27 absolutely grueling hours, John's heart stopped. His body just couldn't fight the physics anymore. The immense pressure on his chest and diaphragm was too much, and he died as a direct result of that condition we talked about, positional asphyxia. Afterwards, the officials were faced with this awful choice. Because it was so dangerous and practically impossible to safely recover John's body, they made the decision to seal the Nutty Putty Cave for good. They filled the entrance with concrete, turning a place that was once a site of adventure into a permanent tomb and a memorial. The story of Nutty Putty Cave is just such a tragic reminder that sometimes, even with all our courage and all our best technology, there are forces in the natural world that are simply immovable. It really forces us to confront the hard limits of what we can do, and it leaves us with this question to think about.